Okay, we're recording for English 103. I'm sorry, I lied, 104. And we are just talking about some elements of this course. We are already through module 1 and we are on module 2 this week. As I said, I accept late work, but only on some items. And bottom line, I accept late work on all activities and assignments except discussion forums. Discussion forums, I never accept late, and you cannot submit after the due date and time. I block it. Okay. So if you're not able to upload, you probably missed the due date. Okay. I am trying very hard to provide feedback on everyone, but I'll just be honest with you. For discussion forums, my normal is to provide feedback if you did not get 100%. So if I had to clip you a point somewhere, I will always comment about it and why. Okay. This one in module 1, I will tell you, I commented on every single category, even if you got 100%. So what I'm telling you is you should look at that feedback every single time, even if you got 100%. Quite often how I work is, for example, in our first module, there were a lot of comments on something along these lines. Although I gave you full credit on replies this time, please note, you need to adhere to substantive and substantial moving forward in your replies, right? So, and I usually said, something like, be sure to apply my guidance moving forward. So you got full credit, you got 100%. But for lack of a better word, I gave you some direct guidance and kind of a warning that if you don't build this up or get it more substantial, whatever, you're probably not going to get a perfect score of 5 in that category. For those of you who do not know how to find the feedback in discussion forums, on our Moodle page right here at the top under course documents, videos, please review, I have a link and it links to a video that I made showing you how to see the feedback on discussion forums from me, okay? You will not see it on the grades page. You'll see the score, but you won't see my comments. The other assignments it will show, but not this one. It's kind of funky. So my recommendation to you, you should check your feedback every single discussion forum, even if you got 100%. And then my caveat there is I do not always reply or give a comment on every single discussion forum. Sometimes I'll just post something that's generic for all within the discussion forum. Something like, hey, I'm noticing these type of errors. Please pay attention to that, But even if I give you 100%, quite often I'm giving you guidance or commenting on something you need to pay attention to. Okay? Any questions on discussion forums? Okay. You should all be able to see module 1 and 2 at this point, which means you finished the starting lesson. If anyone cannot see module 1 or module 2, you got to get that starting lesson. Until it's done, it will not let you access module 1 or module 2. Okay. In module 1, we did introduction to English 104 research. I'm not really going to take the time to explain it because we're done with this module. However, a very common, common sounds like it happened all the time. There were several instances of students getting partial credit because they did not fulfill the entire requirement of the instructions. So, almost everybody got that first part, right, where you had to do a little 10-minute research. Several people missed that last part where you had to identify a challenge. So it's half. It was 10 points for the first, 10 points for the second. So if you didn't do that second point, you got a 10 out of 20, okay? The other thing that was problematic for some people, they simply uploaded the same template that I had given them to download, which means there were no answers on it. I got, hey, I did this. I did, but I uploaded the wrong one. I understand that. However, You need to pay attention to those things. Make sure you identify your files very specifically so that you can tell the difference from the one you downloaded from me and the one you put your answers on. Save them under different names so you don't get confused on this. In this course, there are no redos, no do-overs, really no revisions once you have submitted on Moodle. So you should always make sure you're uploading your best. I mean, your first submission is always your best submission. There is no, oh, can I try that again? Nope, one and done. So if you are confused or you have questions on the assignment, you need to reach out before the due date to me so that I can answer them for you so that you have the best opportunity to score the way you want to score. Okay, happy to do that. However, I'm not a mind reader. My telepathic skills are on the fritz. So you need to tell me what you need or you have a question on. Good, bad, ugly? Okay. I think that's it. Email etiquette is one of the absolute only times in this course that I require you to use my title. You need to show me you know how to do a professional email to either teachers or, you know, your boss, all that kind of stuff. Moving forward, I do not expect you to, you know, start Dear Professor Shirey every time. I mean, that's nice. I'd like you to get in the habit, but you don't have to. You can call Gail or whatever. Because we're on a first name basis now. Questions on that? Good, bad, ugly? Is everybody satiated with module 1 with my instructions? You're satisfied with those, anything related to module 1? Because now I'm going to move to module 2. Okay. So for module 2, once again, I have lots of resources for you, okay? In fact, let me quick go to student view so you don't get confused by what I'm showing you on the big screen. Okay. As I said before, resources are your responsibility to read, review, and understand. If you don't understand some information in there, you reach out. We can do a Zoom chat. I'll talk with you one-on-one. Or, you know, if it can be answered by email, I'll certainly just jot you a line, whatever. My biggest advice in this particular course is do not hesitate and do not be afraid to ask questions. Okay? It's better to know before you submit than to get feedback after you've submitted and it affects your grade. Okay? So in resources here, one of the things I make available to you is the instruction sheet for the research proposal. Please know, I'm not asking you to do anything with this. This is a resource right now, right? Only activities and assignments are things you need to do that week, right? So what I'm doing here by giving you this resource, this is the first unit we're hitting and that you're going to have to submit a major paper on. So you want to look ahead. A lot of people want a ahead look, know what's coming. That's the purpose for this. Okay. I give you some samples of research proposals from past, simply for you to kind of get a feel for how that layout's going to be, what I'm looking for, right? And then I give you resources on like brainstorming topics. One of the things that came up in the introduction to research activity or worksheet was a lot of people chose the topic one. I'm gonna have trouble finding a topic, right? And I give feedback and I give advice, but I also here, I'm trying to supply you with sources or resources. If you don't know how to brainstorm, you're not sure, the most effective way to do that, go ahead, take a look at those, okay? It's to help you. And then of course I give you resources on looking for topics, right? And by the way, this class is all building toward a persuasive research essay, which means you're gonna have to take a stance and you wanna provide evidence of the validity of your stance as well as address a counter argument, okay? And then a really important one I want everybody to pay attention to is topics to stay away from and questions for choosing a topic. it's a worksheet, it's got a list of stuff on there. It's not that, I have anything against all these topics, other than they've been done 1,000 times. Over and over. A lot of times it's been done in high school, but it's also been done here. I've read, I think, every version of capital punishment, abortion, all those kinds of things. So they're off the table. You don't get to do those, right? I would say gravitate to a topic that you already have an interest in, because you're gonna be doing a lot of time, a lot of research. So if you have a natural interest in something, it makes it so much easier for you to stay with it all semester, okay? But you definitely want to avoid those topics. You'll get graded accordingly. So if you write in one of the forums that I ask you about your topic and you're saying, well, one of my topics is abortion and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you won't get credit for it. It's like you did not meet my instructions. You didn't meet what the requirement was. Okay, so familiarize yourself with that. I give you, once again, the definitions of substantive and substantial. A lot of students don't know what I mean when I use those words. They're not quite sure. So it means of substance, not imaginary, and also not generic. Okay, specific, right? Substantial is, hey, is what you're saying important? Yes, students can always make the argument with me, everything I said was important. Not really. It is a little subjective to what I think is important. So let me give you some guidance. Number one, replies in discussion forums are always minimum 4 sentences. When I give you the comment substantive and substantial, that means I can tell you are doing the absolute bare minimum. You're using simple sentences. And it's usually something like, I don't know, hey, Christy, nice to meet you. I hope you're having a good semester. I like that you're cooking, that you have an interest in cooking. Okay. You count, you get your 4 sentence minimum, you say you're done. That's not substantive or substantial. The purpose of those replies is for you to connect with others and engage with your peers, right? So number one, you need to comment on items that they have in their post, right? Now, there's nothing wrong with those things you wrote, but they're not counting towards your 4 sentence minimum because those are generic and whatever. And a lot of people got this comment from me in replies. Although you certainly address something, you need to work on substantive and substantial. You need to beef those up a little bit more. One way is use compound complex sentences, not just simple sentences, right? And essentially, think of it as like a conversation. What are you curious or, what do you know about what they're saying? Okay. So you need to familiar yourself with that because I do use those words quite often. Here we go. Module 2. You have one rated item, one single one. It's in the discussion form. It's in, just like we had in the first one, except obviously I'm changing the topic on you. So in this particular one, you are going to arrive at a research topic potential, right? I'm not asking you to narrow it down yet, right? You don't have to commit to this, but I want you to start thinking in the realm, what are topics that you're going to think? And there's a process. I want you to do it through keywords and questions. So bottom line, I want you to do a little research, right? A little bit of research to help inform yourself. Ooh, maybe I need to come up with different questions, that kind of thing. So I give you the questions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So these are the 7 things I am looking for in your post. Now, I will give you the caveat here. I better double check my instructions. Yeah. Oh, I did. Okay. I did make you do paragraphs. This is a risk for me if I say it, because if I do for one, I got to do for all. Well, I don't think it's going to hurt you to have paragraphs. It's just practice writing. And this is your only one of the week, so yeah, okay, follow the instruction. I want answers in complete sentences. I want you to utilize paragraphs as needed and in narrative form. So you can rephrase the question in your paragraph, right? But make sure you're answering in full sentences. Some of them are a one answer, one sentence thing, but some of them you're gonna have to have, 3, 4, 5 sentences to be able to do that. So do that in paragraph form. What I don't want, as I said before, I don't want you to copy the question and paste it on your document and then do a sentence after it, right? I want you to do it in narrative form, okay? Let me see. Okay, a couple ones I want to give you a heads up. Number 7. Number 7 is a big deal, okay? I want you to give me 3 potentials. 3 potentials that you're thinking about for your topic. Okay? Keep in mind, needs to be controversial, has to have a controversial element within it. Otherwise, it's not going to be your topic. So, someone wrote one time, and I'm just going to throw this out there, was, okay, Bruce Springsteen. Okay, so far it's not controversial, right? Bruce Springsteen is the best rock and roller ever. Okay, kind of a sweeping statement, very general, you're gonna have to narrow it down, but okay, you better. That could be controversial, but not everybody likes Springsteen. You see where I'm going there? I've already had a couple of people email me and kind of reach out for, I want to do global warming. Well, number one, that's way too big for our size paper. You're not going to be able to fulfill that within the page structure that we have. So you could take that and narrow it down very, very specifically, right? Global warming is negatively affecting bat habitats. Okay. That could be controversial, depending on what your research shows, all that kind of stuff. You see where I'm going with picking your topics, okay? Make sure you avoid everything on the document that I showed you what to avoid. Okay, so you're gonna give me the topic, 3 potential topics, and then I want you to answer those things for each topic, right? So, I'm looking for my things. So, okay, under each topic, I want you to list at least 1 research question that you're gonna do and 3 keywords that may be associated with that topic, okay? Keywords may, think of who, what, where with your topic kind of a thing, right? So when you're doing those, your goal is to find good information. So if your search keywords are too generic, it's going to bring you like 80,000 sources, especially if you use the databases. So although here it's going to be fine for generic, try to be as specific as you can for your search words, because that's going to help you when you start going into the databases and such. Or Google, heaven forbid. And then of course, reply has to be minimum of 4 sentences, okay? Always better if you go over. And then I'm very specific. You need to give comments sharing any knowledge you may have about their topic. So in this one, not really interested in what you're doing. I know your topic because you posted your post, right? They know your topic because they read your post. So you are commenting on what they wrote. Hey, I see that you're interested in global warming on bat habitats. I have a bat sanctuary and I am happy to share blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's good. That's relevant to what they post. If you don't know anything about their topic, then kind of think about maybe some things you can suggest to them. Have you thought about maybe looking up blah, blah, blah in relationship to your topic, that may give you a reveal for some key points, right? You see where I'm going with this? So avoid things like, hey, Jenny, I'm doing that same topic. I think it'll be a great one. You'll really enjoy it. Good luck with your paper. Yeah, that will not count. That's all generic. It's nice. You may have it in there, but what I'm looking for in replies are specifics to what your peer posted. So you need to comment on something within their post. Good, bad, ugly? Yes, no, maybe. Okay, going once, going twice. Rule of thumb in my world, silence is affirmation. Okay, so you got an issue, you got to pipe up. Happy to help you, no problem. Okay, where am I at? Let's go back. Oh, I'm sorry, I guess I don't have to go back. That is the only assignment for this week. Although it's only one thing, do not be fooled into thinking it is a quick and dash off kind of a form. There's a lot of things I'm gonna be looking for in that form. So number one, word of advice, every single time, read the directions, read them carefully, and read them again. In the instructions is what you need to know, or quite often something gets missed. Good example, a lot of people didn't know they had to have four sentences, right? Gave me two good ones, but they still got dots. Or someone doesn't know that they had to have two replies, right? Because they didn't read the instructions carefully. Now, again, you are welcome to email me questions anytime. Happy to answer them for you up until the due date and time. Once you submit, I grade. And if you haven't submitted, I still grade. And you can't go back into discussion forums. Once that Friday at 5 comes, it blocks you from submitting anything. Okay. The other ones, absolutely. Upload, send me an email. Hey, I uploaded this late. Sure, that prompts me to go back, review it, and adjust the grading. No problem. Are you good there? Okay, where is your comfort level so far in this class? Give me a 1 through 5. 1, nope, I'm a little rough. 5, yeah, I don't even really need to talk to you. Okay? 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 Okay, good. All right. I feel I am communicating effectively based on the feedback, right? Once again, the new module 3 will open Friday. It's something like 5:01, 5:05, right? This discussion forum is due Friday at 5 p.m. Do not be afraid to tell me or get my attention if you think there's something wrong. There probably may be. I don't take that stuff personal at all, right? A lot of students sometimes will say, well, I didn't want to say anything, you might get mad. No, tell me, we're all using this page, we're all under the same, and I want to make sure I am, number one, being equitable and fair in my grading, right? But two, that everybody has the same information and that kind of thing on the page. My personal philosophy in this course is nothing is worth human life. So what I mean by that is your safety should come first in your mind. So for whatever reason, if you feel, I'm not safe on the roads, right? I give you the virtual option, right? If you're like, no, I really need to hear what she's saying. I give you that virtual option. I'm going to click out of stop share. So you can attend virtually still. Let's say you have lousy internet, maybe your computer died, whatever. You can still email me with questions, right? I try every session to have a video. And again, it's not much to look at, right? Kind of boring. It was the Moodle page almost the whole time, but you notice I did try to talk through things. So, you know, you can always listen to that. We can always set up a Zoom chat as well. I recommend that you get a backup plan in case of these things. Number one, you lose internet connection. Okay, how are you gonna get it? How are you gonna get internet connection? Because the due date is the due date is the due date. So that means Friday at 5 is the cutoff for everything. You lose your internet, I don't know, Thursday night, Friday morning, haven't submitted anything. What's your backup plan? How are you gonna get internet so you can submit, right? Or how are you going to submit? FYI, printing it off and putting it in my office door will not be acceptable in this particular course, right? You gotta upload everything to Moodle, always. Second, have a backup plan of how you are going to get those documents uploaded if you have chosen not to use Microsoft Word. Are there other things you can do? Is there ways you can convert it? Yep. Don't know what they are. That's not my specialty, but you can talk to the help desk, the TLC, anybody in tech. And if they can show you that, my bottom line is you uploaded it to Moodle and I can read it off of Moodle. I don't care how you did it. Word of warning, a lot of students like Google Docs. They've used it probably in high school, that kind of a thing. This class is built around MLA. Okay, all of our English classes are. If you don't know what that is, it's Modern Language Association. It's kind of the common standard for certain things. There are all different standards. So for example, history papers have to adhere to some other one like Chicago style, those kinds of things. But for this course, because it's composition, it's MLA. Quite often Google Docs, for whatever reason, doesn't like the MLA style. And what I mean by that is inserting headers, having things at the right size margins. And when students kind of convert that to upload on Moodle, yeah, it comes out incorrect format, right? You do get graded on the format. That's part of this class. So you will always see that in the category for your papers. MLA adheres to all elements of MLA and you get a scale of whatever, 1 to 5 kind of a thing. So this isn't a big deal that you figured this out right now. Not when your first papers due, okay? If you have Microsoft Word, you know how to use it, great. If you don't have it, you have free access to it. I believe it's called Word 365 or Office, that's what it is, Office 365. I have a link in my syllabus. Click on that link, it gives you instructions. The other link lets you download. If you are not what I call tech savvy, or you just want to make sure it gets on your computer the right way with no issues, I would say take your laptop and go to the help desk. They'll walk you through it. TLC will too. They'll do it with you to make sure it's on there correctly, and better yet, you know how to use it. If you're familiar with all this, obviously it's no big deal. Good, bad, ugly? Pretty sure there was something else I needed to tell you, or at least make you aware of. I'm going to, at this point, call it good for the recording. I've covered content. So I'm just gonna stop recording and then I'll take questions, maybe.